Alright guys, how are we? We bit off kilter here. Look at this, like, might have to go for this type of effect here. Um, um, yeah, I want to kind of talk about tongue blocking, what tongue blocking is, and the alternative, which is actually more like the original, which is lip pursing, which is where most people start. So just two different techniques for playing the harmonica. Um, uh, Particularly when it comes to single notes. So I might play, I don't play a lot of lip purse, but if I were to, it would be like. It's kind of like that old On the Prairie sound, the wild coyote, and the old sickle moon and all of that type of thing, And I imagine too, you could use it for blues. I think it's slightly easier to get a good bend. And it might be easier to do those head rolls. By the way, there are some people that do those like on. They just move the harp, they don't move their head. And the head seems more, rolling the head seems more authentic or something. Well, yeah, the thing then with tongue blocking, right? Well, basically you're doing what? So if you play single holes doing that, well, what's the advantage? Well, if you were playing in that more traditional style, I think there's something you miss from being able to affect the sort of timbre of the note. Lip pursing, you can play a note and then round that up like that. It's almost like taking the switch or the dial, on your guitar, tone low to high. Do you want to accentuate the highs, the trebles here, and the high mids? Or do you want it to be a more bassy sound? So if you're... Okay. Because your tongue is free to move inside your mouth, so you can affect the tone maybe with it. Whereas if I were to do a tongue walk, like this, I'm doing a lot of work to try and get the same effect. I'm not really fit to get it. Now, why then play tongue blocking, for single holes when, you can play faster, you can play with more ease, and you can play cleaner single note lines using lip pursing, which is also a whole lot easier to do. Well, number one, right, is that they say tongue blocking gets you a deeper, more kind of authentic, original blues tone. So the guys that are really into the old Chicago stuff and, do their best to play like that, I think tend to favor tongue blocking just a little bit more. So, right, we're blocking to this side, right, to my left, right. We're starting on the first hole. We have nothing to block, so your tongue's on the comb. Yeah, you call that a comb, by the way. Like they're made of like pear wood usually, or something strange like that. It's nice to have a wooden comb in a harp. You get ones with the plastic combs. I don't know if there's something to the wood. Something to the wood. Similar on guitar, some people prefer a real woody tone. They don't like a real wet sound. Even too much reverb or different effects and distortions and things. They want to hear the wood of the guitar. And they want to hear the construct and the build of the valve amp, and the valves firing that have been heating there for the last hour. Brilliant, we're going to get some good tone today, So some people are like, it's all about tone for them. So tongue blocking, right? You know, now generally the rule of thumb is the more of the harp you have in your mouth, basically, the better tone you're gonna get. So the deeper you can get that hole into your like throat cavity, basically, you know. So there is a discernible difference. So we're going from this. Okay. You know, suddenly Mississippi saxophone. You know. The other then advantage to playing tongue blocking is that you can slap the comb. So, you know. And all that old stuff. Like, I'm a little bit out of practice at the minute. I'm still getting back to a regular practice routine, you know, a couple of half-hour sessions a day, so I don't, you know, wreck yourself. One of the things about tongue blocking is that it's hard to bend notes, and it takes a while to develop the technique because you don't have the tongue, and you can't do all of that so much. You know, you're opening something back here, almost it feels like you're opening your lungs, and you're opening the back of your throat like that, and you know, the roof of your mouth or whatever it is. You know, you do it by feel, really, you know, which is the great thing about an instrument like harmonica. You learn all the bends and stuff. You do need a few pointers to get you off the blocks, like, because there's a few wee tricky things. But once you learn for, you know, your 4 main holes for beginning with, how to make each of them sound, you know, when somebody can give you some kind of physical direction, you go, okay, well, I have a fair idea what I'm doing. I'm starting to get it. Just keep going. You know what I mean? By next week, you'll be wailing away on the prairie, you know. That's me trying to lip purse. I need to practice it more. I think it'll come in very handy with playing the Celtic-y little things. You know, the other thing then is you can't play faster and cleaner lip person because you're always dragging this around whenever you're tongue blocking, and you have to angle the harp as well whenever you change a note, whereas it's just straight across like this nearly whenever you're lip pressing. And so for something like the riff to Duke, right, which I can't even play at the minute because I'm out of practice, whether I could ever actually play it is up for a fucking investigation too, like. But a Duke, they call it La Riff because it's kind of like you make your bones learning that riff, you know what I mean? And it's that one. What key are we in? We have a G harp here. I'm playing a G harp. This is a nice deep set harp. It's the deepest of the harps before you get into the low ones and the 10 holes and all that. So we're in the key of D then, aren't we? So let's go up here, right? It's basically this. You know, that little major lick in like a blues. You know, da-da. So I would try and do that before I go. That's with the tongue. You have to practice it that slow every day for hours, you know, in order to even get near it. It's a very hard little thing to do. I suppose the equivalent on blues guitar would be, what was the instrumental? The Hideaway? It was a Freddie King instrumental that Clapton come out and did on the Blues Breakers and stuff. And Stevie Ray Vaughan, I suppose, later, you know, did a great version as well, like, you know what I mean? So apparently then that was what you had to do. And then, you know, when was it Hard Again album? No, not Hard Again. It's a Hard Road, where Peter Green stepped in to fill Clapton's position in John Mayall's Blues Breakers. Peter Green then played another Freddie King instrumental, I believe, The Stumble, which is cool. I'll play it quickly on guitar here. Why not? Why not? You know, who's policing this? So it's it would go like something like that. It goes dun, 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 dun. What is it? Something like that there. It's a nice little tune. So I guess for Peter Green, that was maybe his way of saying, yeah, hideaway. Brilliant. Got it down. You know, I think he came out, in interviews later and says that he loved Clapton's playing. Like, obviously he did, because he based his whole playing style off what Clapton had done, on the early Blues Breakers album. He had his touch in that, but he took all the phrasing that Clapton had, and he added his own little bit to it, Maybe that was his way of distinguishing himself. So I'm gonna do this other one. Check this out, Anyway, we're getting way off track. We want to then demonstrate this riff, Usually I would just slap it out, because I can't really do it properly. I would go like, when I'm playing more regularly, it'd be a bit cleaner than that. But what's got me interested in this lip person is, what I've come to realize is that there are many great blues harmonica players, and apparently Little Walter was the same, where they would go between the two. So if you become a tongue blocker and, religiously and staunch, that doesn't mean you can't get back on the lip person and do a little bit here and there. Why make life harder for yourself? Trying to get a riff up to speed with a technique that doesn't lend itself well to it. Take that easier road there, Get on the lip person and you'll be floating about like Carrie Bell, in Helena, Arkansas, on a bucket Apache. Have a good day, folks. Keep her bluesy, like.